Hello and welcome to the history of the video game franchise Legend of Zelda. The first Zelda video game was released on February 21st, 1986. Now let's get one thing out of the way right now. This is not Zelda, this is Link. Zelda is a princess whom Link is trying to save in almost every game, and yet it never really gets old, as every Zelda game I've ever played feels a bit like the one I played before, but with something new to bring to the table. Now who should we thank on this day? That would be Shigeru Miyamoto, the man not just behind Zelda, but Mario. That's right, it was made by the same guy. One of the things that makes this franchise so amazing is the story, but it can be harder to follow than the plot of the 6th season of Doctor Who, and both have time travel. So this video is here as your guide. Now first off, we can't think of Link as one person, we have to think of him as the spirit of a hero who is called on when the Kingdom of Hyrule is in trouble. Let's start at the beginning with the creation of Earth and Sky by 3 goddesses who leave behind them the Triforce, a physical representation of their power. Whoever holds the Triforce gets, well, some of their power. Now this is followed directly by the game Skyward Sword, where Link runs around on floating islands not unlike the film Castle in the Sky, except he gets to ride giant birds. Centuries pass and the entire Kingdom of Hyrule is created. Now we have the events of the Minish Cap, and years later the Four Sword Adventure. In both, Link must battle a sorcerer named Vayati, who he defeats in the Minish Cap, but then he comes back in the Four Swords to be beaten again. After this, to set up possibly the most loved game of the series, or Ocarina of Time, there's a great war, and a Hylian mother gives up her young boy to a tree spirit. Ocarina of Time starts with you as a young Link as you try to save the kingdom from Ganondorf, a really ugly green guy with red hair. You try to get the Master Sword, which allows you to become your older, stronger self, but the downside to this is that Ganondorf also got stronger and turned all of the citizens of Hyrule into zombies. If you play the game right, you beat him, and he is sealed away by Princess Zelda and the other sages who help along the way, and the world is saved, right? On to the next game? Not so fast. See, here's where it gets fun. At the end of this game, we have 3 different timelines branching out. In the end of Ocarina of Time, Zelda brings Link back in time to before he goes on his larger quest to get the Master Sword, so Link can tell the king Ganondorf is going to betray him. Though by doing so, she splits time in 2, allowing for 2 very different game styles to come after it. But wait, there's more. The 3rd timeline, you died along the way, so now there's 3 timelines. Now in the one where Link defeats Ganon but is still an adult, Ganon escapes the seal and causes a great flood, and we get the game Wind Waker, which takes place 100 years after the ending of Ocarina of Time. Phantom Hourglass comes right after and has the same Link, but the next in this timeline, Spirit Tracks, comes over 100 years later and has a different Link. Now, in the timeline where he goes back in time to stop him, Ganon doesn't befriend the king, so he just outright attacks Hyrule, is defeated, and then sent to the Twilight Realm. And Link wanders alone until Majora's Mask, then Twilight Princess, which happens 100 years after and is about equal to Wind Waker, and lastly the Four Sword Adventure, which is different than the one we talked about before. All 3 of these games are much darker. And lastly in the timeline, we have the one where Link dies and Ganondorf lives to unite the Triforce and become a tyrant. That is, until Princess Zelda leads a revolution and seals him away herself. She didn't need no man. Now we get the original games. We get Link to the Past, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, then Link's Awakening, then the first game ever made, Legend of Zelda, and then its sequel, The Adventure of Link, in which it's said that Link is 16, making him 15 or 14 in the original game.
Now, to add to all this confusion you probably already have, we now have to add to this the fact that the first Princess Zelda was put into a sleeping spell, and the king was so distraught over this he ordered that every heir to the throne afterwards be named Zelda. Thus, Link is the spirit of a hero, and he's continuously falling in love with the Zelda, but it's always a different Zelda.
So you see, it's not just a game, it's so much more than that. And because of this, in its honor, every video description from here on out I shall call the dungeon, because that's where all the links go. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that if you have a nerdy friend you think might benefit from this information, you share this video with him. Alright, see you guys next time. Bye!